Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everyone, to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. G. Bush and Tyvis with me today. What's up, guys?
What's up, man? We talking mixtapes in the building.
Later, we're going to rank the top 5 rap artists of every decade.
Hey, you know what it is, man? It's your boy G. Bush in the building, a.k.a. Turquoise Pippin.
Who are the top 5 rappers of the 80s, G. Bush?
Ooh. Top 5 of the 80s.
Yeah.
Rakim, LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Ice Cube, and give me one more. 80s, one more.
It's hard to remember back that far.
Well, you know, I was in Public Enemy.
There you go.
Fire, disputed,
Actually,
and we ain't giving you no polls and no polls. You don't get a pick.
That's it.
No
That's
polls. Tyvis, you can
list.
opine on that.
That's a solid list. I mean, I really
That right there, that's iconic right there.
And I wasn't even alive in the 80s, but I know that's a solid list for sure.
I'm an 81 baby. People don't even be knowing like that. I'm slightly 81. See, you a 76 baby.
I wish. 71.
Woo! Bull was born during the civil rights. Could me and you drink out of the same water fountain back then? Okay, it was in certain places. That's crazy. That's nuts. 71?
71.
That's crazy. I didn't know like that, bro. That's seriously like some.
Jay's is the 60s.
Oh yeah, listen, I can see.
He's like 65, 66.
Jay
is that old?
Yeah, he was around when apartheid was kicking, just hanging out, bro. Like that's crazy, man. Like he is that old, 60s.
I did not know.
No, Jay's 58. Jay's 58.
So he was born in the 60s.
He was born
in the 60s, but he's 58 years old.
Ah, that still count. Nah, that count, bro. That means like
Jay almost
man,
60.
Man. Back then, women couldn't even vote.
Times.
This dude, it's crazy, man. The country was just different back then. Shout out to Jay.
Jay got an AARP card.
And he got unlimited PTO. I ain't seen Jay since the Browns lost to the Texans.
I got to say, where I grew up,
we see him since the Texans game. He been yachting. Like he just been like, yeah, I'm done.
It's funny when I heard the intro and I heard Jay, it's like I think I've been on with Jay once in the last month.
Man,
well, he had his elbow surgery.
Yeah, he's been out
on
a lot.
vacation this week. He's back Monday.
He'll be back Monday.
Where else has he been? He had a couple off-site shoots, so he had to miss a day or two.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, he's earned it.
Hey, what you mean? He been, you know, he was on ESPN, and Jay was on ESPN in '76.
But I got to tell you though, where I grew up, and maybe I didn't notice it, maybe because I was a kid or there was no social media, there was nothing. I didn't have an internet. I didn't have cable till I was in my 20s. I had 2, 4, 5, 7, 9. 11, 13. I had 7 TV channels till I was in my 20s. That was it.
Here's what I will give you.
But what I was going to say real quick is that I love where I grew up. At this point in my life, I wouldn't want to live in Brooklyn, but as a kid growing up where I grew up in Brooklyn, it was a great place to grow up because when I went away to college, I knew people of every race, religion. It didn't matter. I knew everybody. I had friends that were black, that were Italian, that were Irish, that were Jewish, that were Chinese. It was everything. And I think it's a great way to grow up because I think a lot of people there's some people that are just racist assholes, but there are some people that just don't know any better because they grew up around everybody that's just like them.
Yeah.
And maybe if they'd grown up a different way, they wouldn't have fears or whatever it might be. And I loved my childhood because I loved meeting people of different types of cultures, and you learn new things, and you ate different foods wherever you went. And I didn't say I'm Puerto Rican. I knew a lot of Puerto Rican kids too. So
I'll give you
I had
that.
everything. It was a total mixed bag.
When you live in New York, you automatically get an international badge. It just is what it is. Like you go to these cities, and It don't even matter. Like, you could be black, white, poor, old, kid. You gonna be on that train. At the end of the day, everybody's on the train. You can see a little kid from the projects and a stockbroker or hedge fund guy from Manhattan.
Yeah.
Don't even matter.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. But anyway, a lot to get to today. Obviously, we'll be here on YouTube as always, but till just about 12:30, and then at 12:30 we'll be on Channel 3 WKYC. We'll talk about all three teams coming up in the final half hour of the show. A lot of Brown stuff to get to in the beginning of the show. Let's say hello to Mike. Mikey?
What's up, guys? Before we get into reads, Bull, you didn't make a bracket. Tyvis, did you make a bracket?
No, and it's the best decision I've ever made in my
I picked the
life.
final four, but I did not make a
Not
bracket.
stressed
G.
at all.
Bush, how'd your bracket do?
I won about 150 last night.
Did you do a
then,
bracket?
Yeah, well, I did. I didn't do a bracket. I've been doing this FanDuel. Like, they let you do it in waves.
Yeah.
And then I lost it all.
Did you guys hear about Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, he's 16
Yeah,
for
him
16.
and
He
Sir
had a
Yacht
perfect first day.
both have perfect brackets.
That's crazy. The Oakland game. How you pick the Oakland game? I lost because of Oakland and Kentucky. I lost.
Hasn't Kentucky lost in the first round like 4 or 5 years in a
Yeah,
row?
Kentucky lost to St. Peter's as a 2 seed.
Crazy.
2 years ago, they
Yeah.
got knocked out early. Last year,
Crazy.
they are. John Calipari has a lifetime contract in Kentucky. He's on the hottest of hot seats right now. This is. I don't know what they're gonna do because he's a lifetime contract. What do you do with a lifetime contract?
Hey man, you know, I find it very ironic how all of the great coaches just left. He should have left with all of them, the Roy Williams and
Paulo Patino's still
and
coaching.
all of them. Because you know what happened now? Now you can pay anybody. Now you
Yeah, right.
Now you ain't got no advantage, dog. You know, he was paying people back in '96.
Yeah, oh yeah, a lot. Go ahead. So, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so Anthony actually, of all the people in the UCSS bracket that work on UCSS, Anthony's in first place after one day, but he's not anywhere near
Oh, you guys
first
did a
place.
pool?
Well, we promoted it like 12 times in the show.
They
We've been here
did.
every day this
Yeah.
week. If you didn't hear that,
Where
you
was
got to
I
get
for
your
that?
ears checked.
They
Bad
did
job
it.
out
They
of
said
you.
it Monday, Tuesday,
Oh, good for you guys.
and Wednesday.
So Anthony's in first place.
Of the UCSS people, he is not in
So
first
what
place.
was his record?
He went 10-6 yesterday.
More importantly, who's in last place so we can make fun of them?
Of the people here,
Yeah.
it's only me and Anthony who filled out a bracket. So Anthony's in
Oh.
first, and technically I'm in last.
So you're in last.
you're
So
place.
I'm in
last.
What did you do?
I went 9-7. So
All
I
right.
picked one
That's
game better than
serviceable.
me.
I
But
expect more from you, Mike. You're supposed to be our basketball aficionado
this
here.
this is such a crapshoot. I feel like the more college basketball I watch, the worse I do in the bracket, and the less and the more I just pick off random.
I feel like
whatever.
it wasn't a ton of upsets, though.
Well, Duquesne, right?
Duquesne
Duquesne,
won.
Oakland.
Oregon beat South
But
Carolina.
didn't
Oakland was a
also,
division.
real quick, shout
Wasn't
out to-
Oakland? Hasn't that coach been there forever and they
Yeah,
never
shout
won?
out to Coach Damrot in Duquesne, by the way.
Right.
Used to coach LeBron, Cleveland
Right.
guy, so shout out to him.
But wasn't Oakland a Division II team and the coach has been there like 50 years and they never won a tournament game? Or am I thinking of another team?
I think Oakland is.
No, I think that's Duquesne. Duquesne hasn't won a game in forever, and they
Oh.
won their first.
It's
one
about like
yesterday.
55 years or something like that, right?
But no.
Duquesne,
There's a
yeah.
team where the coach is one of the teams that won yesterday was an upset. I think it is Oakland. Their coach was there forever. When he first started there, they were Division II, and then they've been in Division I for a while.
Maybe it is Oakland. I
and
don't know the
they
answer
and they
to that.
finally won their first game. Anyway,
Well, either way, congrats if everyone wins. Hopefully your brackets do very well today. And if you are betting on brackets NCAA tournament, you can say goodbye to your busted bracket because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the NCAA tournament, whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed. It's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and bet on college hoops until they cut the nets down. And shout out to our guy Darren Smith from Kansas City
Yeah,
for a
Darren.
winning ticket yesterday. He bet on the Kansas Jayhawks.
Nice.
In a multi-part same-game parlay, turned $10 into $344.34. He had over points and rebounds for 3 separate players, plus over assists for DeJuan Harris and the KU money line. And Darren turned $10 into $344. So shout out to Darren, who also is a great lead into our first topic of the day, Bull.
and two things. Number one, Darren was all over you and G. Bush the other day,
he
especially
agreed. No,
you.
he agreed with
He
me.
agreed with us.
He agreed.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Wait, about what?
You lost that one.
You lost that one.
About what?
He
You were
said-
so lost in the soup that even Darren, who
Darren
came
was-
back to confront you, You misread it again.
You misread it.
What?
Bill's been
Wait
wrong
a second.
for
Wait, what
72
happened?
hours.
That's crazy.
He said that you said that the Chiefs did not have a good roster.
We're not going to dive down into this again because
Wait,
we
but
could go
I
on
want
for 2
proof
hours.
that Darren agreed with you.
He said Patrick Mahomes is it. He's the deal. You got Patrick. It
He
is
said,
what it is.
he said, I saw the disrespect. I'll be blah, blah, blah. What are you talking? He said you and G. Bush were reckless.
Read the last text. I said it's Mahomes. It doesn't matter what else you have. And he said, yes.
Darren, don't
proving
forget who was
point.
the only one, blah, blah, blah. I never forget. I saw the whole conversation. End of the day, you got Mahomes. You don't need much else. That's not agreeing with you.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Nah.
At the end of the day,
No,
if you have
no.
Mahomes,
Oh, my
you don't
goodness.
need much
You-
else.
That's
does
what
that
Mike
say?
said. That's what Mike said. That's
But-
not what Darren said.
What'd he say?
We're not going all the way back to go.
All right, forget it. By the way, I was right about the Oakland thing. The coach has been there 40
Oh,
years.
okay, it is
And
Oakland.
they were Division II when he first started, and he never won a NCAA tournament game.
And their player had 10 threes yet. It was one
Yeah,
of
how
the
many
most
did he finish
incredible-
with that kid?
10. He had 32
No,
points.
total points.
32 points, 10
Yeah.
threes, 2 free throws.
Boy,
That was
Incredible.
crazy.
Game
Incredible.
6, Clay.
Did you see our guy John Fanta?
The best.
Did you see this? He
No, honestly, go ahead.
So what's her name? The Red Panda? You
Red
know that
Panda,
woman?
yeah.
Who
This
gets
is the
all
Big
the
East
like?
tournament.
Who does all the
She
plates?
flips the cups on her head.
Yeah,
on the
okay,
bowl.
yeah,
That woman.
yeah,
She dresses up.
yeah.
Anyway, like John was part of her act. He was out there like a wrestler, like encouraging
Well,
the
he
crowd
did-
to make noise.
He did it last year. It didn't go well.
It was. Oh,
So
really?
he got redemption this year. That's why he was so excited this year, because his first time doing it at the Big East tournament with Red Panda last season did not go well. He
What
blamed
happened? She dropped something?
He said he threw it from a bad angle. It wasn't the right toss. He held it against himself for an entire year.
Oh,
So
man.
this year was a redemption tour for
That's
our guy
right.
John Fanta.
And then she hugged him
Came
at
through
the end.
clutch.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
it was a great moment.
Hey,
That
what
was
is-
so cool.
Hey, this dude, hey, man, he got that mojo right now.
He does.
He got that juice.
There was a
does.
great article on John in the New York Post if anyone wants to read it.
Really?
Highly recommend it.
I did not see
Rise
that. I
I'll
got to
send it
read
you.
that.
Rise to
John's awesome.
superstardom.
Hey, look,
All right, go ahead,
New York
Mike.
Post. Dang. Let me hold 40.
Yeah, no, he got.
What?
He's
You on
he's doing
News
big
Nation.
things. All right, speaking of big things, speaking of Darren Smith,
Yeah.
on Good Morning Football the other day, Jason McCourty, who's one of their regular panelists now, was asked who the biggest threat to the Chiefs are in the AFC. And here's his answer. Steve, take that word full.
I look at this AFC North, and you guys are talking about the Baltimore Ravens, and then obviously in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's coming back. He's the guy that has been able to take down this Kansas City Chiefs team back in 21 on his way to a Super Bowl run. I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to say potential when it comes to this division, and I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. I feel like for the second straight year, we're talking about what their potential is, but we saw something about the Cleveland Browns last year that I think was special. This is a team that, Shregs, you emphasized it all season long when we started talking about Coach of the Year with Stefanski, because this is a team where their offensive line was beat up. It felt like guy after guy was going down with an injury and somebody else was going to have to step up. We watched the star of their team and Nick Chubb go down with a gruesome injury in Pittsburgh early on in the season. We watched Deshaun Watson get banged up and have to play through different injuries. We watched a rookie in DTR come in and have to win games. PJ Walker had to win games. And then eventually they signed Joe Flacco off of the couch. And this was a Cleveland Browns team that was playing on the road in Houston for a playoff game. Yes, they didn't win, but you learn something about your team when you have to go through that level of adversity. Now, this offseason, they go and they make a trade for Jerry Jeudy to be opposite Amari Cooper, a guy that he grew up watching and trying to emulate his game after. Now they have Elijah Moore in the slot. Nick Chubb hopefully can get back to where he was. But then Jerome Ford as a backup showed what he can do. So I look at this team in Cleveland, and Jim Schwartz comes in as a defensive coordinator last year. Myles Garrett becomes defensive player of the year. They have so many guys on that side of the ball to go and get a veteran like Jordan Hicks at that linebacker spot. To me, the Cleveland Browns could surprise a few people and potentially say, hey, we have a seat at the table and maybe we can do some things and we can get healthy and get on the right track. I look at.
So Jason McCourty says the Browns, the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. What say you?
You know, before we answer this, I have to address something first real quick. And it's the fact that, and Tyvis knows this. Tyvis is a good guy, so he wasn't involved with this nonsense. But when you're a professional athlete, you have women all over you whenever you want, right? When you're a professional athlete. It doesn't matter. You could be the ugliest guy on the face of the earth and you're getting women, right?
That's
Right?
a fact.
Right? Doesn't matter. You
Yes,
could.
if you're-
I saw it in minor league baseball when I was doing the lowest level of minor league baseball, where 6 of the 100 guys I did games for, made the majors. Only 6, okay? And only 4 were like real major leaguers where they played for a long time. The other 2 had like 2 at-bats in the majors. And even the ugliest guys in A-ball were getting women. Jason McCourty has got to be one of the best-looking guys I've ever seen. And I'm confident in myself enough, and I'm not uptight. I know half of you are like, oh, my God. Earl especially. He freaks out with that type of stuff. He's getting all uncomfortable. Jason McCourty, can you imagine what girls he was getting?
What you mean was?
Well, still. This guy is ridiculously good-looking. It's disturbing.
Didn't Jason McCourty play for us?
Yeah, Devin
He
McCourty.
did.
No, it was Jason.
No, Jason
For
played
1
year
year.
in Cleveland,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he got a brother that looked like that too.
They're
Huh?
twins.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they was out there.
Devin played for the
You think
Patriots.
they've traded?
They've been tag team champs.
Wow, you think, wow.
Oh, my God.
Y'all
All
are-
right.
y'all
Are the
hilarious.
Browns, because the rest of you are so uptight and uncomfortable, I'm moving on. The Browns, Earl's so uncomfortable, he's awkwardly laughing backstage.
I mean, you
right
did segue. You didn't go. We had their answer in the button.
I know.
We was like,
how could I ignore that Jason
judges.
McCourty may be the best looking man in football? I can't ignore that.
Hey man, you did.
I'm impressed.
You get mesmerized a little bit.
I
You
am.
good?
I'm
You
mesmerized.
straight?
I'm impressed.
Mesmerized?
All right.
That's what you might be pushing it now.
Are you buying what Jason McCourty gave a good recap of? I mean, it was a good argument for why the Browns are the number 1 threat to the Chiefs. Are you buying what he's selling? Are they the number 1 threat? And if not, where would you put them?
I would not put them. I like what he said. Everything he said is a fact. I'm not buying that they're the number 1 threat. I'll put them at number 2. I would definitely put the Bengals at 1 because they've done it, and they, with the offseason moves that they made, I still think that their roster is good enough to still beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But the Browns, they can be right there. I think the biggest thing for the Browns last year is that the attitude and the way that they went about playing teams that are seen as top in the NFL, the way they attack those teams, it let them know, like, hey, we belong on this stage. We can compete with y'all. If you think about when they lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs, what was that, 2-3 years? When was that? Whenever that was.
It was 2020. It was the COVID year.
Whenever that was. They were right there in a game.
Mahomes did miss part of the
True,
game. Yeah.
but they were right there. So it wasn't like they were that far off. And it lets me know that Kevin Stefanski actually does have a good play calling style that he can actually put them in position to win those games. So now you add Jim Schwartz to that with what he's done defensively. They have what it takes to beat the Chiefs. They could dethrone the Chiefs off the AFC. They just got to stay healthy, and everything has to come together with all the moves that they made, with guys getting healthy and with them getting Jerry Jeudy, and you need Darius Smith to step up. But my number 1 thing, if I had to pick right now as a number 1 threat to the Chiefs, I would have to go with Cincinnati because they've done it, and they've done it consistently.
G. Bush.
You know what? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah, bro. Like, the Bengals is right there amongst teams, right? They get Joe Burrow back. The Browns played really well against the Bengals and Joe Burrow. You look at the Ravens; they've taken a little step back, I think, defensively. When you look at the situation, I look at it and I say to myself, what you need to really be worried about is the fact that if the Browns start clicking, if they get this offense together. See, the Browns, they've been running an offense where it's like, okay, we just want to keep it ball control. But we've seen at the end of the year what the offense can be when people is locked in. The worst thing that could happen for people is Deshaun Watson actually stop caring and get back to what he is. If he get back to that mojo and get back to what it is and start living in that swag and getting in his bag, then the Browns is a different type animal because I done seen what the defense can do. I done seen what Amari Cooper can do, and I like the moves that they made. And shout out to the Browns, man. Operation Stockpile, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my cohorts, my generals, my lieutenants. They done listen to what they said. Operation Stockpile has been a success. They going to get running backs now. They getting receivers now. They going to get coaches, Tyvus. They got kick returners. Listen, they bring every free agency been over, and they still making moves in the AFC North. Deontay Foreman, guess what? Love the move. Now we was worried about the short yard back. We didn't have Kareem Hunt back again. Now we got that. Now Hines we even brought back Pro Size, a.k.a. Coach Cheese. We even brought him back. So we ready to go. We ready to go. Operation Stockpile. We still getting people, bull. Still getting cats. I say yes.
Yeah. So you say yes. I got the Browns fourth. Third.
I was about to say.
I meant fourth.
Who came on comments and I got the Browns 14th.
Fourth was including the Chiefs, but we're trying to beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
So I got the Bengals 1 and the Bills 2. Well, here's
Bills.
why. Josh Allen.
They just lost a lot.
They just lost people.
Yeah.
They still got Josh Allen.
That's all they need.
He's half the problem.
I think that's baloney. All right. I think, in my opinion, Josh Allen has mostly played great in the playoffs.
He hasn't beat them yet.
I'm aware.
How could you say that?
Because the games they've lost to the Chiefs have not really been his fault.
This last year they wasn't.
It wasn't his fault
Let
they
me look
lost.
at it. I gotta look at it.
How about the game where they won? They lost that crazy game back and forth.
Oh, he was lights.
He was fantastic in that game.
That has been
And
his.
here-
That's
If
literally.
if Deshaun Watson would have had home field advantage and you
Yeah.
lost to Patrick Mahomes,
Bro.
you'd be killing him.
Listen,
He was at home.
we hang our hat on that one performance by
Yeah.
Josh Allen. He ain't did nothing remotely close since.
This year, in this year's playoff
Titus,
game, Titus.
if you look at his history in the playoffs, he's been really good. Now, he hasn't played great every game. Has he done better than every other quarterback? Deshaun Watson played like 2 playoff games.
He's not done better than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I got Joe Burrow. No, that's why I got the Bengals 1 and the Bills. Plus, here's the thing that you guys kind of forgot about: is the AFC North is the toughest division.
Yes.
So it's going to be hard for anybody in the AFC North to end up with a better record than the Chiefs and have home field advantage.
I just don't see them losing. They even lost.
Did we
They
have-
lost their.
wait a minute.
They lost one of their best safeties.
We had the same record as them this year, as the Chiefs.
And the AFC North is going to be even better.
The Ravens had a better record.
I hear you.
They lost.
But
their-
who's more like the Bills are in a weaker division, are they not?
The Bills-
So they're more likely to win more games.
The Bills
I
lost
mean, I don't
their-
know how you guys could be apoplectic. The Browns haven't won a playoff
The
game
Bills-
in 3
the-
years.
I don't know.
Josh Allen's won plenty of playoff
the
games.
Bills
that-
lost their best safety.
Yeah.
The Bills lost their second receiver.
They lost their corner.
They're done because they lost a
Yes!
three
Three great
great
players.
Yeah, 3 playmakers.
Great. Gabriel Davis is a great player.
He's their second
just a guy.
receiver.
That performance that you talk about,
Yeah.
Josh Allen, he was a big part of that.
He killed that game.
Yeah, he had like 3 catches for 3 touchdowns.
So what do you think? They're going to stink this year?
No, but they're not going to be that good.
I completely disagree.
I'm just not big. I'm not on the Josh Allen
What
train.
did he do in that game?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
against the Chiefs this year,
At home, yeah.
he had 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, 186 passing yards, 72 rushing yards.
See, that's decent. I mean, the 3 touchdowns is really good, and
That's
the no
nice.
In
no
his
turnovers.
no turnovers.
The no turnovers part is phenomenal
I like that.
for him.
In his playoff career, this
Yeah.
is just passing. He has 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Okay.
I mean, you would tell me he's not good in the playoffs?
Hey,
I'm telling you where he been.
21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
No AFC Championship games.
Nobody's got it besides Mahomes and Burrow. I got to pick a third team. How many AFC Championship games the Browns got?
Not very many.
None.
save him out as the Bills.
So
Deshaun Watson got some first round wins.
he's got 1 first-round win. Deshaun Watson's won 1 playoff game.
And how many what's the name of them one? Josh Allen 2?
No, he won a lot more than 2 playoff games.
Josh Allen's played in 10
5.
playoff games, so he's
he won
5-5 in the playoffs.
Listen, it's not good enough. But who's been a more reliable quarterback the last 2 years, Allen or Watson?
I'll give you that. Listen, he's been
Allen.
more reliable. I'm just talking about
That's
the
it.
roster. If you look at the Browns roster, you look at the Bills roster, the Browns roster stepped up. The Bills roster took a step back.
I agree.
We
with
don't
that.
judge teams solely on what they did in free agency.
Yes, you do.
They do.
a little bit. Yeah,
That's it.
to start the season.
That's it.
They lost. I'm talking about the people I saw. They lost playmakers.
They
These are
lost
starters.
1 playmaker.
Gabe Davis,
He's
Jordan
just a
Poyer,
guy.
Trey
He's
White.
We're going to go nuts about Gabe Davis?
He got how much money
He's
he get
over-
in free
you-
agency?
What, they can't replace Gabe Davis?
They
Are you kidding
signed
me?
They signed Curtis Samuel, so that's the swap. You went from Gabe Davis to Curtis
Is
Samuel.
that much of a downgrade?
Go Bucks.
Is that much of a downgrade?
Well,
on
that's
Gabe
my-
Davis?
it's an upgrade because it's a Buckeye. Go
Jordan
Bucks.
Poyer was a captain.
That's on defense. That has nothing to do with playmakers on offense.
I mean,
Wait a minute, defense. So defense ain't important.
They got a good running back. Josh Allen is at worst the 3rd best quarterback in the league. No? at worst.
Who you putting second? Oh, Joe Burrow.
Either him or Burrow are the second best. I would. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. You put whatever you want. You guys are talking as if the Bills suck and have done nothing.
All I know
is
that the Bills lost players that are starters.
All I know
But,
is
they still had a really good team and won a lot of games last year.
That's like, watch this. If you say the Browns lost, Amari Cooper.
No, they didn't lose them. They didn't lose their best receiver.
Okay, well, say the Browns never. Well, Jerry Jeudy is the second best receiver now.
Okay.
Say they just never made that deal for Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
We'd be going crazy because you ain't got a second receiver. You out here looking crazy. Then you lose. Say you take Delpit out the mix. He's gone. And you got a corner.
So what?
They lost their starting corner. Say we not gonna say Denzel Mark Emerson.
I think you're blowing that up bigger than it is.
What?
To me, when you have the quarterback, that's the most important thing. You're always going to lose a few pieces. That's going to happen sometimes.
To overtake the Chiefs, not happening. You
Well,
can't lose.
I didn't say they're going to beat the Chiefs. I said that I'd give them a better chance than the Browns.
Yeah, they can't. Listen, you can't lose at home to the Chiefs and then get worse.
I don't know. I think I personally, what was the score to that Chiefs-Bills game?
They had the game to
It
win.
was
And you don't know-
27-24. They missed the
Gee,
game-tying field goal
you can't
from 38
mention
yards.
3 players and say they're going to be worse. We don't know who they're going to draft. You're ignoring the players they've added. We don't know their roster of defense. Like
I know who
other
Jordan
teams.
Poyer is.
Okay, so they lost
I know who
guys in
Gabe
the secondary.
Davis. Gabe Davis was one of the top receivers.
Mike, when did Gabe Davis become? All of a sudden, nobody wanted Gabe Davis when we were talking about free agency. Nobody. Nobody here wanted him. Now it's a big
Do you
deal. The
want
Bills
to
lost
hear
him.
Gabe Davis' stats in that playoff game?
Yeah,
0 targets, 0 receptions.
0.
Can you tell me how much Gabe Davis got in free agency, Mike?
He got $39 million. They replaced him with Curtis Samuel, who got $26 million.
Go Bucks.
There it is.
So you're saying that the difference between Curtis Samuel and Gabe Davis is going to make the Bills significantly worse on
No,
defense?
because
Come on.
Curtis
On offense?
Samuel is much better than Gabe Davis.
Well, I don't agree with you.
Go
but still,
Bucks.
I think they're the same level of player.
He does more.
I like to. Here's the thing.
He does more. You could use him as a running
mean,
back. You could use him as a.
The Bills won a playoff game last year, did they not? The Browns did not. You guys are looking at me as if I'm nuts. I think
I didn't say you
I
was-
think if you ask first of all, if you ask neutral fans, who's more likely to beat the Chiefs,
They would
the
say the
Browns or the
Bills.
Bills? More people would say the Bills than Browns, and you guys are looking at me like I'm out of my mind.
No,
Mr.
we're looking at you like you out of your mind because you're completely dismissing the fact that they got rid of some players.
It's crazy.
And you're dismissing the fact that right now Josh Allen is way better than Deshaun Watson.
You
That's
like
fine.
you love quarterbacks.
Well, what matters more?
That's fine.
I mean,
all I know is you tell me Baker ain't that good, but they went toe to toe with the Chiefs 4 years ago.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes missed half that game.
So what?
And Tyvis, by the way, like Baker Mayfield beat Joe Burrow. Is he better? He has a winning record against Burrow. Is he better than Burrow?
so
Don't ask me that question.
so the Bills. Listen,
You know how I feel about winning records and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
the
and it's
Bills
crazy.
The Bills lost their center, Mitch Morse, who was a Pro Bowler in 2022. Jordan Poyer, who was the captain and one of the best defensive backs. Tre'Davious White, they lost as well, and they lost Gabe Davis. Like that's
That's a lot.
a lot.
That's a lot.
Who did they add?
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel.
Go Bucks.
Who you
else?
got? They released defensive back Siri Neal.
Oh wow! How will they
Yep.
survive
I
that
don't know
one?
who that is.
Naeem Hines. We got him. We pillaged him. For Naeem Hines.
Play for them. He was hurt last year. What are you talking about?
But
He didn't
listen,
play.
That's a diamond in the rough, though.
Listen, if you guys disagree, that's fine. But I can't believe you're looking at me like I'm nuts.
It ain't crazy.
It's not nuts at all.
It's Apple. It's equivalent. Like you can say that Joe.
I got their whole list, G. You want the list of players they've signed?
Yeah,
Yes.
give me them list.
So this is just ESPN. Some of these include re-signings. But
Yeah.
All right,
they
Thomas gets
re-signed
ready to downplay
Teron
these.
Johnson. They made him the highest paid
Forget
nickel.
the re-sign.
He's
Well,
a
it doesn't
nickel.
sort re-signings versus signings.
All right, go
so
ahead.
Curtis Samuel.
Go Bucks.
They re-signed Daquan Jones, re-signed Deion Dawkins, their left tackle. They brought in Ty Johnson as a backup running back. They brought in Mac Hollins as a third receiver. Nicholas Morrow, a linebacker, unfamiliar with him. Cam Lewis, excuse me. I'm not sure who he is. Mitch Trubisky is a backup
Oh
quarterback.
wow, they're really getting
They
it done.
signed Taylor Rapp to replace Jordan Poyer.
Okay.
Tight end Quentin Morris, defensive end Casey Tuhill, guard David Edwards, and punter Matt Hawk.
That's the best free agent class I've ever seen.
I have
Bull.
no idea.
That's
all
that's
I know
cold.
is
they cold. They
They still have their best quarterback. They still have their best running back. They still have their best wide receiver, and they have a young tight end that showed a ton of promise last year.
Would you say that Diggs kind of took a dive towards the
He
end of
did.
the season?
There's a little concern there.
And he's short and slow. But if you come to the Browns, he's a playmaker.
Who's short and slow?
Take Diggs.
Diggs ain't slow.
Diggs like an 88 speed. 88 speed. Come on,
Give me no
Tyler.
I gotta know what he ran.
on,
He
Tyler.
a 4-4 guy.
By the way, we all ignored the Ravens. Is that fair?
Yes, because they need to address their defensive end concerns.
Well,
So who
and
and
the
they
truth
need, and
is
they need a
Lamar
receiver.
Jackson, for the most part, has been awful in the playoffs.
Listen, by the way,
What are his playoff numbers, Mike?
fool's gold?
Lamar Jackson, 1 sec.
His
numbers have been awful.
And they lost
I
some
think.
people, too.
What's he won? One
They
playoff
need
game,
a
two?
receiver.
Lamar Jackson. So Josh Allen has 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 10
At the
games.
same time.
Lamar Jackson in 6 games has 6 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Oof.
His record is 2-4.
And the most messed up part about it is they run the air raid package in the playoffs only.
And they seem to
5 wide with Lamar Jackson.
they have no answers for the Chiefs. They never play well against the Chiefs.
No run game. They abandoned
That's
the run
because
game.
they went from what they were supposed to
That
do.
was such a dumb game.
The defensive game plan was ridiculous. They went to zone. They've been a man-to-man team the entire year. They
Yeah.
went to zone, and Patty just picked them apart.
I'll tell you another team.
Picked them apart.
I'll tell you another team we left out. That's got to be in the mix. Are the Houston Texans.
Yeah, we've been disrespected.
Now the question is with C.J. Stroud, does he have that second year, that sophomore slump?
Of course he won't. Go Bucks.
No, it's coming. Listen,
You don't think there's any chance?
No.
He's gonna have a sophomore slump.
No,
real.
He gonna take over and become. He gonna be a top 5 quarterback after
he's
this season.
he's very good. Listen, he's really good. But they got a playbook for him. They got a program for him. They last year they outcoached us. There were some pieces and parts they had. Listen, when they had Nico Collins on Greg Newsome,
They didn't even
in
have
the
Tank
slot,
Dell last year against them.
and Tank. Listen, it was devastating. Like he was getting tap danced on. You working with your mans? He was getting killed by
Who?
Nico Collins.
Genu?
Yeah.
I told you the one play.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like I said, you know what the difference between the rest of the season and that game was? It's the pass rush.
Yeah, it wasn't no pass rush, really.
The pass rush kind of died for the Browns.
Yeah, it wasn't no
towards the end
pass
of
rush.
the
They got to
season.
get better. I hope they got the tape on that.
Alex Wright was literally the bright spot at like December to the rest of the season.
They need to figure that out. But I will say this though, we just really put dirt on the Dolphins too.
Yeah, I don't even consider them at all.
They
lost the line. They lost.
I would go.
They
My
lost the
top
line.
5 threats to the Chiefs in the AFC would be.
Yeah, everyone give me your top 5, then we'll move on.
I go
Everyone give me your
Bills,
top 5.
Bengals 1, Bills 2, Browns 3, Texans 4, Ravens 5.
Damn. G, what about you?
I'm gonna go with first and foremost. I'm gonna go with the Browns. Second, I'm gonna go with the Bengals, but it's a virtual tie on that one for me. Third, I'm gonna have to agree with Bull. I'm gonna go with these Texans, man. Texans, and then fourth, I'm gonna say this. I think the Jets gonna be all right next year.
Damn.
I think the Jets gonna be all
I
right.
forgot all about them. Then they just got Mike Williams.
Five.
I can't put the Chargers there. They done lost everybody named Mom. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll say this. I'll say the Steelers.
Damn, you're having to put the Bills in the top 5. All right.
No. Sorry about that. Bills 5.
Bills 5.
He completely out.
got it.
Hold on.
All right, what's your top 5?
Let's not get it
guys?
twisted.
Top 5.
Cincinnati, Cleveland, Bills, Texans, Jets.
Jets.
I like
Oh,
the
you
Jets.
guys-
Buying the Jets hype. I asked the chat if they thought Cleveland
Oh,
was the
I
number
wonder
one
what
threat.
the chat had to say.
378 votes. 52% said no, they're not the number 1 threat.
What?
I'm not kidding. Ant, will you confirm the
Holy moly, that is stunning to me.
52% say they are not the number 1 threat to the Chiefs.
52% is correct.
Because you can't say that. It has to be Cincinnati because they actually done it.
But the Browns were better than the Bengals last year.
Joe Burrow was hurt.
Well, so was Deshaun Watson.
I see what you're doing here.
I'm just trying to be fair about it.
What did he go? What was his record? The backup quarterback for Cincy.
Browning?
I feel like he won a lot more than he lost.
I want to say he went like 4-3 or 5-3, something like that.
Well,
he lost like his first game or two.
Well, they started off. I think they started off terribly this year.
Right.
Last year, Cincinnati.
Yeah,
they was like 0-2, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, if you guys want to check out a Cavs game or a Guardians game this season, or go to a concert or a play over at Playhouse Square, make sure you're buying your tickets on the Game Time app. There's no easier way to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. They give you the view from the seat, so it takes all the guesswork out of what you're getting with your ticket, plus their lowest price guarantee. Make sure you get the best deal humanly possible. You can even have a event cancellation protection plan just in case something comes up at the last minute. But always use Game Time if you're buying tickets, no matter what the event is. And it's simple. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
All right, guys. So we all agree that the Browns have had a good run here in free agency. Mm-hmm. But for some players, there may be disappointment because when you add a bunch of free agents, that means guys that were on the roster that maybe thought they were going to get more of an opportunity may now get less of an opportunity to perform. The Browns, after being a team that for decades had no depth, now have, in most of their position groups, I would say, very good depth, especially at running back, quarterback, and defensive line, and to some degree wide receiver, and corner even. So there's a lot of depth. So who on the Browns that was here is the biggest loser in free agency? In other words, you thought maybe that guy thought he was, hey, I was going to have a chance to start, or I was going to be the third corner, or I was going to be the fourth pass rusher, and now I'm further down the depth chart because of something the Browns did. Tyvis, why don't we start with you again? Go ahead.
Well, the obvious answer for me was Elijah Moore.
Right.
I mean, Elijah Moore went from literally going from wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3. Right. And obviously, him not having that big season, he was counting on this year to be considered the number 2 so he can get the bag because it's his contract year. But now that they've added Jerry Jeudy and they've paid Jerry Jeudy, you got to feature him now because now you have to show everybody, why we paid this man. So I think a lot of the game plan will be tailored more towards Jerry Jeudy to getting him his first 1,000-yard season. So fans will be like, oh, this was a good move. He came here and got with Deshaun, and now Deshaun and him, Jerry Jeudy looked like a top wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know how Elijah Moore fits in that anymore. I don't think he's at the top of their concern anymore about getting him the ball and getting him his reps. I think the only thing that he got going for him is that he still can do the getting the ball out the backfield.
Oh,
stuff.
no, he can't.
Yes, he can.
We revisited that type. No, we're not gonna do that this year. He done. He's a big.
You gotta get him some. You gotta get him some versatility.
I'll do that with Jerry Jeudy.
We're not even putting back here for no returns. Nothing. No. He's just gonna be. He's a small blocker now.
Y'all need to cut it out. You know what? He's 800 yards. Book it. No, what I say yesterday? 756.
800.
756.
He didn't even get that last year when he was allegedly number 2.
And getting touches out of the
4 touchdowns. Book it. 756,
Book
4
it.
touchdowns.
All
Book
right.
it.
Says the guy, G. Bush, the way they utilizing him in this offseason. Oh, my knees. Oh, my knees are shaking. My knees are shaking. No. Listen.
Do you agree it's Elijah Moore or you got somebody else?
I got somebody else in mind. I was glad you didn't take my guy. This is obvious. And I was wrong on this one last year. D-T-R-A. Sayonara.
Man.
Yeah, it's not looking. Come on, you bring in famous Jameis. You bring in a Pro Bowler and Tyler Huntley.
You think he gonna get cut?
Oh, listen, they're gonna try to flip him from something.
Oh wow!
They're gonna flip him for something. They're gonna get him. Listen, they're gonna
I don't
roll
think
him
so,
over
G.
on somebody else. Just like if Dobbs got what do we get for Dobbs?
A fifth-round pick.
You might get a 4 for old boy, DTR. You might get a 4 for
You
him.
can get that for Huntley.
No.
No. Listen, they gonna keep Huntley. Like, listen,
Why would you keep Huntley?
Because-
that man is under contract for 3 more years.
we don't care about that.
What you mean? He's cheap.
Minimowski.
He's cheap.
Well, listen, Minimowski.
He might not even make $1 million.
Guess what?
He probably doesn't.
Yeah.
He don't, which is easier to move off of him.
Tyler Huntley what is Tyler Huntley's deal?
Minimum. Veteran minimum.
Super minimum.
That's
So
over $1
if
million.
you had a game that you needed to play today, this is how it's going to work.
Minimowski.
The Browns understood last year. Deshaun get hurt, they ain't going to take it from us saying we going to bring P.J. Walker or some of these guys off the streets. They got a guy that's played games before. He's definitely going to play. He's in the mix. If you look at the experience level in that room, the guy with the least amount of experience and the biggest question mark is DTR. And yeah, you can say, well, I thought DTR did some nice things and all this other stuff. Don't get it twisted. There was a time period where DTR was slated as the backup quarterback, but they decided that he wasn't good enough and had to go to P.J. Walker.
We talked about this on Tuesday.
That is not true.
I agree with Tyvis. I think the only way Tyler Huntley's on this roster at the start of the season is if Deshaun Watson's not ready to play.
If they said that you got a game today and you could play DTR, Tyler Huntley,
I'd play Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
Why did
But
y'all say that?
They wouldn't need that, G, because he
It's
got
not
Jameis.
like he was great.
Look, he was better than DTR.
I don't
DTR had promise, and before he
I
got
don't
hurt,
think
he was
Tyler-
playing well.
Tyler Huntley is better than DTR. It's just is what it is. I'm sorry.
Why? Because he got a Pro Bowl?
No, because he's
No, that's
played.
we
He's
call
played
them
in
Pro
meaning,
Bowls.
He's
Yeah.
played in meaningful games.
He has. Playoff games.
and playoff games in a system with a good organization. He's better.
I'm taking DTR over.
I
Huntley.
agree with G that Tyler Huntley gives you a better chance to win by a little bit right now, but I agree with Tyvis that I don't believe that they'll keep Tyler Huntley as a third quarterback over DTR.
I mean,
I don't
why
think
would
they
you
will.
do that?
He's better.
Gee.
I think they'll. Here's
Why
what
would
I think they'll do.
So okay, so you got Jameis on the 1 and Huntley on the 1.
So let me ask you this.
So
question.
we don't got nobody for the future?
Let me ask you this question: If they thought DTR was that dude, they would have brought in a lesser camp arm. You don't bring in a Huntley guy that is playing.
Yeah, but
they could have brought in. They could have drafted a dude.
You
and
act
take
like
that and look
you
at
act
him.
like Tyler Huntley is like Joe Montana or something.
But why would if they wanted DTR? Why would they bring in another quarterback? You already had 3. He was ready to go.
Didn't DTR get hurt too?
Yeah, DTR was hurt a little bit.
What was his? No, like didn't he finish the year like hurt?
Yeah.
yes,
What was his injury?
I think something on the ankle or something.
So maybe he's not 100%.
I think to me this is all about them being extra cautious if Watson's not ready to go. I think Tyler Huntley is more likely to be able to put on the practice squad than DTR. Because nobody wanted Tyler Huntley. Otherwise, he would have signed for more than the minimum.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying.
I
Like,
think that's what will happen if Deshaun Watson is ready.
if you listen, I'm gonna let you. I will say, look, if DTR goes to camps and beats him out, clap it up for him. But we're not giving no positions out.
Oh, I've been
Agreed.
saying that.
We ain't giving no spots
So
out.
you think if Watson's healthy, that they'll keep Tyler Huntley as their third quarterback over DTR?
Yes.
No.
And Tyvis and I think it'll be DTR.
Yeah.
Now, if he beats him out, like if they go to camp and he just lightened it up and he's better,
Yeah.
I'm rolling with the best guy.
Now remember, either way, they might have to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster, which they never did last year.
Either way, they want them all to do well, so they don't have to cut nobody.
Right.
They can trade them.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
But don't you agree that Tyler Huntley's more likely to make it onto the practice squad than DTR?
Yes.
Because every team had a chance to sign Tyler Huntley this offseason, and nobody
because
did.
DTR is still a young guy on a rookie contract.
Right.
Like that's like I can. You tell me I
Tyler
can
Huntley's played big games, G, I agree with you. But I think if you look at DTR, there's upside. I think people are like, Tyler Huntley is what he is. Like, this is what he is.
It's all about money at the end of the day. Everybody want to strike when they got a quarterback that's on a rookie deal. If DTR shows that promise that he can come in and be a starter and make plays, which he wasn't bad. His receivers did him no favors. Can you admit that?
Listen, I'm not saying they didn't do him no favors.
Okay.
But he didn't really. I'm just saying, look, I wouldn't feel great about it. Like let's
You
be
didn't. So before he got hurt in the Denver game, you wasn't thinking to yourself like, oh, okay, he throws some decent.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a rookie.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, you got to give him a little room to grow.
I'll give him a little room to grow.
Yeah.
But I would feel kind of shaky.
But it's
that you got 3 quarterbacks here and one of them can play.
But it's different than last year because now they have Jameis as the backup. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to last year when DTR was the backup, and he shouldn't have been. Mm-hmm. He should have been third string. Mm-hmm. Well, let me give you my opinion. Now, I actually agree with Tyvis. I think the answer is Elijah Moore. But I'm going to make a case for someone else so I don't make the same argument you did. Actually, you could even make a case for Cedric Tillman if you want.
Oh, that's why that was my second choice.
But I'm going to make a different one. I'm going to make a case for Alex Wright.
Okay.
So the Browns obviously have brought back all their veteran defensive linemen, all of them. I remember thinking at the beginning of free agency that they'd bring back, in addition to that, they also signed the guy from the Jets whose name I keep forgetting.
Quentin Jefferson.
Q. So they've added 4 free agents in D-line, 3 that have returned, and 1 is a new guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they'd bring in that many guys. I thought Alex Wright at the end of last year showed a lot of upside and potential.
He did.
Now, I don't know if he's going to necessarily play less, but it's much more crowded with guys who are proven and veterans out there. And maybe Alex Wright, if I was Alex Wright a month ago, I might have been thinking, man, I got a chance to be a starter if I have a great camp. Now he's got no chance to be a starter.
Well, my second choice was going to be Ika because he went from – he literally went from – it was just him and Dalvin on the roster at D tackle. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm starting."
Yeah, but at least Alex Wright showed something. Ika hasn't shown.
But still, he won't get a chance.
No.
Siaki Ika's nickname is Healthy Scratch.
That's sad.
Healthy Scratch is you
don't want that nickname.
There's no way he can't do that and get too. If he is a Healthy Scratch, they would just move on.
Listen, maybe he don't. I don't know, man. I ain't never seen somebody get red shirted like that. He got the red shirt.
He definitely got red shirted.
It's like there's time. It's like if you don't get red shirted, then you get red shirted as a junior. That's bad.
I hope that. I sure hope he goes out there and develop a pass rush. I don't think he has to worry about the run defense. I think it's more of a pass rush thing. He needs to maybe cut a couple pounds, get a little bit.
He is a one gapper. Like he's not like he ain't no like arm upfield. I'm about to get my pass rush move on. That ain't it. That's not that ain't his game.
All right, guys, let's keep it moving. You got to read before we move on?
I do got to get a read. We still got another FanDuel, another game time before 12:30, so let me hit you with one more FanDuel read. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel is allowing you to bet on every game of the NCAA tournament, whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed. It's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and bet on college hoops until they cut the nets down. All right, Bull, let me ask you guys this. Let me set this one up. I asked you guys this yesterday after the show, and you and Tyvis had different answers, so I'm curious where G's going to fall on this. We know Donovan Mitchell is the most obvious answer to who do the Cavs need back from injury the most. So take him out of the equation.
By the way, 13 games left in the regular season.
That's it.
For the Cavs.
That's it.
Can't go get through that fast enough. Go ahead.
Just about a month left.
Yeah.
Just about a month. So taking Mitchell out of the equation, he's the obvious #1. G, I'll start with you. Actually, you know what, G? We're going to end with you because I know how these two are going to answer. You're the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Who are the Cavs missing more right now? Evan Mobley or Max Strus?
Guys, I think it's definitely Max Strus right now. Jared Allen is playing like an absolute beast and a superstar right now. Mm-hmm. And we've seen all year that the Cavs are better with Jared Allen and 4 shooters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I didn't say a big man and 4 shooters. I said Jared Allen and 4 shooters. Mm-hmm. Evan Mobley has had kind of a lost season. He hasn't had a good year. For a couple of weeks, he was trying to shoot threes. Mm-hmm. And then he's been hurt twice. He's kind of lost in the soup right now. Yeah. I feel like obviously the Cavs need Donovan Mitchell to be right if they're going to make any kind of run in the playoffs. But if you say to me, all right, you're getting Donovan Mitchell back, you can only have Strus or Mobley in the playoffs. I think to how this team has played its best basketball, Strus is much more now, especially now that you have Morris, because he can play some of those backup minutes at center if you need him to. And I would say that I want Strus' shooting, and his game fits how this team plays best with Jarrett Allen, Donovan Mitchell, more than Evan Mobley. Obviously, Evan Mobley is a much better player in the grand scheme of I shouldn't say much better player. He's a better player in the grand scheme of things. And in the big picture, he's probably more important to the franchise. But for this moment in time, this year, and this potential playoff run, I think it's Strus.
I'm going Evan Mobley for the simple fact that our backup center situation isn't great. You know, Tristan Thompson, he's come back, and he hasn't been the Tristan Thompson before he got
Start
suspended.
roiding again.
Yeah.
Start roiding.
He might need to start sticking himself again. But
Dang, bro.
what?
Go ahead.
But anyways, to have a guy, I'm not saying that Evan Mobley should come back and obviously go in the lineup with Jarrett Allen. I think they figured out that, you know, those two work best when they're not in the same lineup. So if you can bring in Evan Mobley and let him be the backup center, now you got a guy who can, even though he doesn't take a lot of threes, when he is at the 5, you can go 5 out. You can let him dominate the inside by himself. And he still brings that defensive presence in there, you know. So I think that Evan Mobley, to me, Strus is fine, but I think you got some shooters right now, you know, with Sam Merrill finally starting to get back to the Sam that Mikey loves. Dean Wade continues to improve his 3. You know, I think you got enough shooters to get it done. I just think that backup center role is the one that can get kind of funky, because if Jarrett Allen goes out and you depending on Tristan Thompson and he's not what he was before the suspension, then you got a little hole right there.
G, you break the tie.
Before I say that, I want to say this. I know they're not going to do it, but
Imani Bates.
No. This is deep. This deeper than rap right here. I've come to the conclusion that watching Jarrett Allen and watching Donovan Mitchell, if you got to look at the 2s and the 2s, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen as the 2 that you keep and rebuild around. The other 2 guys, if it does not work this year, should be looked to be moved.
Darius and
But
Mobley.
you could only do that if you got the commitment from Mitchell.
Yes, I can only do that because I look at it like this, and I'm going to say Max Strus. Because when I watch Evan Mobley's game, I'm convinced in the sample size that I've seen, based upon his progression, I don't think he's going to progress into what we thought he was. I think he is. To be truthful, I think he's not better than Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen has shown that. Silently, he's shown you he has better touch around the rim. He's more tenacious on the boards. He runs the floor a little better. He knows his roles exactly, so it ain't no guessing where he gonna be at. He's at his spot where he needs to be. He knows where he can get, and he's very efficient at doing it. I think when you see him continue to thrive without Evan Mobley, the more he's doing that, is showing you as an organization who the person you should be building around. Because you don't got to run him plays. You don't got to wait for Jarrett Allen to hit 3s. We got to wait for Evan Mobley to hit 3s and be able to dribble. And I just don't think it is what it is. In this case, it's Max Strus. Because I think one of the best lineups is with Max Strus being able to spread the floor and shoot the ball. To me, that's exactly what they're missing and what they need in the playoffs is that ability to play the 4 out, 1 in. And it's a shame because Evan Mobley, I feel like JB's just going to come back and insert him in the starting lineup. And
that's all part of the reason I don't want him back.
It's just like he's going to put it back. He's going to put it right back in the lineup, Bull, and just say, okay, we live with the results. And
no, he better stagger them.
Nah, he ain't gonna do that. He
better.
Kobe Altman, this is how it's working too, because they've already put the mandate out. If you hear anybody talk about anything, we talk with Jason all the time. They're like, we don't want to spend no more money because we got to put our money away from Evan Mobley. No, Evan Mobley got to earn his max deal. Because that's the problem we had with the first guy. Darius Garland has to earn his max deal. You just don't get to be a max player. The worst thing you could do is max guys out that might not be max worthy. Like Jaylen Brown, $304 million.
He's a lot better than Mobley.
He's a lot better than them, and they thought about it a long time. Like, dang, he's second team All NBA. Like, Jaylen Brown, I gotta still sign Tatum. Tatum's up in 2 years. I'm sorry. They're gonna come back and they're gonna put Mobley in this game, and it is what it's gonna be.
Jaylen Brown got the richest deal in NBA history, right?
That good contract, McNuggets. You like that deal?
Who are you picking, Mike?
I take Strus. I don't think it's that close either.
And
Strus is real quick. Not just does he add shooting, he's a pretty good perimeter defender. He's really smart. He's a glue guy that helps all the other five-man groups work together cohesively. And I think with him, you just have a ton more flexibility to mix and match. You don't have to force guys to play because you just don't have the depth on the wings as opposed to up front. I've liked what I've seen from Marcus Morris and Tristan Thompson, at least enough to fill in for what Evan Mobley
I'm curious, Mike. G made the point that he thinks Jared Allen's a better player than Evan Mobley. He gave you a bunch of things. One thing I would even add is that he's got much better basketball instincts.
I agree.
Right?
Sure.
But do you agree that he's a better player?
Right now, yeah. I mean, I think Mobley still has a lot more room to grow. I didn't think we'd ever get this level of Jared Allen, so maybe there's another level he could even go to. But, I think we're at 60 to 70% of what Evan Mobley could be. Could be, G. There's a chance this is it. Like, I thought he was going to be a perennial All-NBA guy. I've kind of
and he still could be.
As I'm saying, he still could be. I've reevaluated on my confidence level of that from being I felt really good about it to I'm not sure anymore. Still certainly could get there. He's actually had a better season than I think he gets credit for. But the fact that him and Allen can't play together is a giant knock. It's a giant knock in his game right now.
It kills him. Because if he just had, look, I'm not talking, if he just had LaMarcus Aldridge, Vin Baker game, Xavier McDaniel, 15-footer, like just the 15 dead spot. Just if you could knock that down consistently, we'd be ready to go. You'd be like, man, we could at least play him off, or they could play him at the high post and work through him through the elbow. And you're right. I think Jared Allen finishes around the rim a lot better. I think he knows where to pump fake. If Jared Allen would have some heart, like when it comes against the Knicks, you know what kind of player he'd be?
Yeah.
I mean,
if Jared Allen were mean, he'd be he's nice.
Man. Yeah. I mean, Evan Mobley wasn't no better.
He's no. What do you mean? No.
Last year against the Knicks, he wasn't no better.
Oh, no, Evan Mobley is the nicest person in the world.
He's passive.
Yeah.
He's passive.
Yeah, he's he's a good kid. I'm not trying to be.
I hate when people say that.
He is
a really good kid.
He's a good, nice young man. I ain't trying to hate. I ain't saying nothing bad. Darius Garland's a really nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't got no dog in him, is what you're saying.
Man,
killer instinct.
Mamba
mentality.
LeBron is still. I understand this. LeBron is still running around here, 40-some years old, still bullying people. You know why? It's because of that mentality.
I agree.
He just yo, you like my little son. I'm playing Bronny right now. Let me work him back in to get to my spot.
You're not wrong.
Let me get to where I like to get there. I like when Hubie Brown talks about you see how he just went over there and got to his spot. It'd be facts too, big nuggets. It'd be like, you didn't let DeMar DeRozan get to that elbow. It's over.
Speaking of LeBron, the Lakers are the 9 seed right now in the West, and the Warriors are the 10. Which team's got a better chance to do anything in the playoffs, Mike? You think?
I would not want to see the Lakers. I just don't. They have two guys. With the Golden State Warriors, you have Steph. Does anyone else really, truly scare you on the Warriors?
Jonathan
There's a chance
Kuminga.
that LeBron and AD turn into supernovas.
I don't know. Ever since Clayton came off the bench, he been
Wiggins. They got a bunch of dudes.
Wiggins has been terrible this year.
Wiggins is horrible.
No, Jonathan Kuminga.
Hey, Chris Paul just listen.
I don't even know what he does.
He shot.
Yes,
yeah,
he's very shot. Because
we got to move on, but we asked the chat, Strus or Mobley. 2/3 went for Strus, just for the record.
Not surprising.
All right, Bull. We're gonna move on. Talk a little Guardians for a sec before we do a Jameis Winston topic that I promise you're gonna want to stick around for. But if you want to go to a Guardians game this season, you should be buying your tickets on Game Time. It's fast, it's easy, and they have tickets online and available to events all around the greater Ohio area. But it's not just Ohio. This is a nationwide deal. Last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. It's easy, and you can find and buy tickets for events all across the area. You get views from your seats and their lowest price guarantees. Make sure you're getting the best deal possible when you use the Game Time app. Just download the app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
By the way, can we talk about the fact that there's too much texting going on in the group chat right now?
Is it?
Like, it's enough already.
Do you have your notification
enough.
on?
My phone buzzes.
So you got your notifications
Yeah,
on.
I don't be seeing nothing.
I cut mine
your
off.
phone's on. I don't know what goes on with your phone.
She was on Do Not Disturb when I called him 6 times
Yeah,
this
yeah.
morning trying to go and run down.
Hey, it did not disturb. It sure was. It had that
Too much in-show texting going
Oh,
on.
it's Jason Lloyd.
It's Jason Lloyd and Steve Becker, our leader here. Way too many texts going on. I don't even know what they're texting about.
Wait a minute. Does this say Jay Crawford?
See, and now I got Tyvus distracted.
Jay
too.
Crawford
Jay
sent
texted for the
a
first time
message.
in like a month.
Oh my God!
In a month. That was
Well, hey, we got to get two things in
All right,
before
come on
we head
now,
over.
Tyvus.
Boy,
Here
you
we
can
go.
set this up. What about Jose Ramirez?
So
What about him?
we want to talk about the fact that, well, first of all, today Jim Bowden, longtime MLB GM, ranked every team's lineup in Major League Baseball. Where do you think he put the Guardians?
Last, second to last,
25th.
second to.
Exactly right. 25th. Here are the lineups. Well, I don't need to look at it because I'm pretty sure I know who it is. The only teams below the Guardians in lineup are the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
Okay? Like the Guardians are the only team in that bottom 6 or whatever it is that are, in theory, should be competitive for a division. But their lineup is so bad that it holds them back. And he made the point of saying, hey, in his write-up, he goes, Jose Ramirez is awesome. I expect Andres Jimenez to bounce back this year. Kyle Manzardo, once he comes up, will be good. And he mentioned Josh Naylor. He expects Josh Naylor to have a good season. But he said, but if the Guardians are going to make the playoffs, they got to be a whole lot better than 25th, which is obvious. Now, again, they don't have to be number 1, but they got to be number 15 or somewhere around that. They've got to be a middle-of-the-road offensive club and have their pitching stay healthy. And it's something we've all alluded to a lot lately is that Jose Ramirez took a major discount to stay with the Guardians. It might be, just off the top of my head right now, the largest discount I've ever seen a veteran player take. Young players, it's different before they get eligible for free agency. But for a guy who was a year away from becoming a free agent, he probably left maybe $100 million on the table. I will never know exactly how much he left, but I would say he left around $100 million, and I don't think I've ever seen a player in any sport leave $100 million on the table in that kind of way by giving the hometown team. And what has the team done to repay him?
Nathaniel.
Not much.
Nathaniel.
Pocket the money.
Well, they tried.
No, they didn't.
They tried to get Josh Bell and.
Well, they did, but that's not a lot of money.
I know, but I'm just saying that was.
So
just,
they spent on Josh Bell and what's
Zanino.
And they didn't last the whole half a
about
year.
$20 million last year.
They didn't even last the whole year.
This year they've spent less than they spent last year in free agency. They signed Austin Hedges.
And then they did victory laps on the Austin.
Wait a
They
minute.
traded for
World
Scott Barlow.
Series champion.
They signed World Series champion Austin Hedges.
Thank you.
And they traded for Scott Barlow. Between the two, they're making $11 million this year. They did sign one other major league contract, journeyman pitcher Ben Lively for $1 million.
Did you see JD Martinez signed with the Mets for $12 million?
I did see that.
That's a lot of money.
What do you mean it's a lot? You being sarcastic?
No, well, you said the other day you thought you'd get him for like $3-4 million.
I did not say that.
No, you said the Guardians could sign him right now for $3-4 million.
I said they could have signed Adam Duvall for $3-4
my
million.
bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I knew JD was going to cost more than
My
$3-4
fault.
million.
Bad job,
But
Adam.
still, the Guardians, what, they can't spend $12 million?
$12 million is light.
You know what a difference JD Martinez would make in their lineup? But Adam Duvall just signed with the Braves last week, and that guy could have, if you played him every day in center field, and he could play center field, if you played him every day in center field for the Guardians, and he stayed healthy, he'd hit at least 25 home runs. he'd be at worst second on the team in home runs. He'd hit somewhere between 22 and 32 home runs if he played 130, 140 games. And the Braves signed him for like $4 million. There's no excuse for that. And when you look, I was talking, you weren't here yesterday, I was talking Jim Duquette, who used to be the GM with the Mets, worked with the Orioles too. He was on my podcast this week. And I asked him about Jose Ramirez, and did he think Jose was going to bounce back? Compared to most players, Jose still had a really great year last year. But for him, it was a down year.
He was in the MVP top
right,
5.
Early, especially early. And then second half, he wasn't as good. And I said, do you think Jose is going to bounce back? And he said, honestly, I think the reason his numbers have declined a little bit each year the last few years is because the lineup around him is so bad that he's now started to swing at a little more at bad pitches that he wouldn't have in the past because he gets pitched around a lot and he doesn't get a lot of pitches.
Not seeing no pitches.
And the Guardians have screwed this guy. They've screwed him. Now, I give him credit for signing Jimenez. I like that move. I know he didn't have a great year last year, but I like the player. I give the Guardians credit for that. It was a good signing. But they have failed to put enough talent around him, and I think that has hurt his career.
This is to me, if you have the business analogy or restaurant analogy, this is why, businesses go out of business. Like, you can make a couple of decisions where you invest in the wrong person, you invest in the wrong product line, you start skimping and start taking away on the margins. And it's like, when you go out there, and I'll never forget this, and it always rubs me the wrong way. It was 2 years before Francisco Lindor came up and
was going to be a free agent.
First free agent.
Yeah.
And Dolan said,
Yep.
"You better enjoy him while he's here."
I wanted to punch him in the
face. That is so flippant and disrespectful to your fan base. That's like you being in a restaurant business and you a steakhouse and you ordering top prime beef and people used to it. And then you say, well, listen, you better get used to it because we're going to that ground chuck in about 2 weeks. You better enjoy that filet while you got it. What? That's crazy to me. And not only aren't they going to give you that? Like, I think it's a slap in the face that they're going to throw Shane Bieber out there again for the 5th straight year. But in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about is they going to trade him or not.
Well, maybe not in 2 weeks, but certainly.
I'm about to say,
certainly in 2 months we will.
Think about it. You won't pay me.
That deadline
for 5 straight years, you've given me the ball.
Yeah.
To go out there and start opening day.
Yeah.
It's mixed messages, man.
Speaking of opening day,
go ahead.
Before you go, this came out 1 minute ago from Zach Meisel. The following players have made the Guardians opening day roster.
Okay.
Carlos Carrasco.
Cookie.
Tyler Beede.
Beede.
Brian Rocchio, Tyler Freeman, David Fry, and Gabriel Arias.
Wait.
Rocchio made it?
Arias, Rocchio, and Freeman are all on the roster.
So Zach follows this tweet up saying, this would seem to leave one spot available for either Will Brennan, Devison De Los Santos, or Estevan Florial.
Oh, listen.
Wow.
Florial.
Well, that's interesting.
Because De Los Santos.
Well, I kind of like that because I like Rocchio. I always forget if it's Rocchio or it's Rocchio, right?
Rocchio, yes.
I should know that. I'm a baseball guy.
I forgot. I didn't think he was going to make the roster.
I didn't think he was going to make it either. I'm actually excited about that. I assume he's going to play shortstop every day. I know the thought was Arias would play it. I think I don't know why you'd have Rocchio on the roster if you're not going to play him every day. And I think Tyler Freeman might be playing some center field.
And so was Arias DH?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Shortstop?
But if Rocchio's on the roster, he's got to play every day.
So does that mean Jimenez might play shortstop? Because Rocchio, I thought was a second baseman.
No, Rocchio's a shortstop. Freeman's a second baseman, but they've been working Freeman in center field. So the fact that either I had Florial and Brennan both making the team.
Dang.
So the fact that only one of those two, De Los Santos, he's a Rule 5 pick. He should not be on the. If the Guardians are trying to win, you can't have Davison De Los Santos on the roster. He's a Rule 5 pick. Here's the thing, okay? A quick explanation. So the Rule 5 draft happens in December. The Guardians took Davison De Los Santos in the Rule 5 draft. If you take a guy in the Rule 5 draft, he has to stay on your major league roster the entire season. And if you don't, or on the injured list, and if you don't keep him, if you want to, you can't send him to the minors. you have to offer him back to the team you drafted him from. So, but this guy's never really played above AA, and he hasn't had any success.
Yeah, there's no incentive.
If you're actually going to try to win, you can't have a guy on your offensive team that's a Rule 5 pick. I could live with it as the last bullpen spot, but not as a hitter. So he should be gone. Plus, they need another outfielder. I mean, but Tyler Freeman is being looked at as an outfielder, absolutely, because you're going to keep 5 outfielders probably. And Florial or Brennan will be the last guy. Now, Florial also cannot be sent to the minors. He has no options left, which means if you can try to send him to the minors, but another team can claim him.
He goes on waivers then, essentially.
Another team would claim him. If nobody claims him, then the Guardians can send him to the minors. But so I'm guessing that that is really interesting. But I got to text Zach, and we'll on the first Ultimate Cleveland Guardians show on Monday, we'll talk more about this. But I got to think this means Rocchio is I think the starting shortstop.
Well, we talked about Florial being a guy to potentially block the ladder from moving up.
Right.
And obviously he's been sent down to AA, but to see both Brennan and Florial in jeopardy of not making the roster,
I don't care. I don't think either of those guys are any good.
But does it make sense that if you have Florial, right?
Yeah.
And you say you can't send him down, will they give him first bite at the apple?
Well, you can't send De Los Santos down either, G.
Well,
right, but you can send Brennan down.
But you can send Brennan, yes.
But if Florial ain't doing nothing, you just bring up one of them, the Lauder or one of them other guys.
My guess is Florial will get that last spot. They'll send Brennan down. They'll send De Los Santos back to, I can't remember what team they got him from, whatever team. Arizona. And that my guess is Freeman will be the primary starting center fielder, with Myles Straw playing some against lefties, and then Rocchio and Gabriel Arias will play some shortstop and some DH between them. Platoon. But they've been waiting on Freeman, Arias, and Rocchio. Arias has gotten some opportunity. The other two have barely gotten any. Mm-hmm. If you're going to have them on the roster, then you got to play them. I want to see if those 3 guys are there. I want them playing at least 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. I feel a little better about that.
I ain't a salty.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing a couple of names that I've been waiting on to see for 2-3 years.
Let's see what they got. And in terms of Carrasco, the question is, I got to ask this Zach also, is he going to be their 5th starter? Because Gavin Williams is starting the year on the injured list. So the question is, will Tyler Beatty is a journeyman, he could be their 5th starter too. Carrasco obviously has been a great starter in his career, but he was with the Mets last year.
They got a lot. Stephan is out too.
Yeah, I think Karinchak, Stephan, Gavin Williams, all those guys are going to start on the injured list. And somebody else was banged up in the pen too. I can't remember who the 4th guy was.
I'm drawing a blank. But
what's that?
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank on who that last person is.
So anyway, some interesting.
We'll put a bow tie on this real quick before we do super chats and then with the Jameis Winston topic. But we started the topic as, are the Guardians kind of wasting the prime years of Jose by not putting a more competent lineup around him? Tyvis, yes or no?
Oh, you didn't get a chance to answer.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wasting his years. They wasting not just his years. They wasting our years as fans as well. Listen, this organization has been right there. Yes, y'all have done some really amazing things with not spending money. But, at some point, come on, man. Just spend the money so we can actually enjoy it. Yes, did attendance go up last year?
It did.
It did go up last year. You want to really sell it out. Now you get some sticks in there and make it more exciting for us to come see it. And on top of that, somebody leave $100 million on the table, you better utilize the $100 million. If I'm Jose, I'm going back in there and say, hey, I need my money because y'all ain't going to use it, so you might as well put it back in my pocket.
They're too busy putting it into Matt Dolan's failed political campaign.
What say you?
They got, I say, of course, yeah. And they don't, the frustrating part is there's a lot of people that want to rock with the Guardians. There's a lot of people who don't really necessarily identify with basketball because it's such a singular sport. The Browns, they got 12 games a year. There's a lot of people in this city, including a lot of people in my family, that really want to get around and put their arms around the Guardians, but they don't do enough to put that competitive nature on the field. And baseball, like anything, they don't understand. Baseball, people come to watch players. My mom still loves CeCe Sabathia and Cliff Lee and dudes like that. You know what I'm saying? Victor Martinez. She loved Francisco Lindor. When they didn't pay Lindor, she swore off of him. She said, I would never. She said they didn't have to come out and say that in the public like that. That he was playing hard for you. They marketed their whole campaign around him. Yeah. I just think that they put a little more into it and didn't have it so transactional. It feels transactional with the Guardians a little bit.
Yeah, it very much does. It's unfortunate. All right, we got a special Jameis Winston segment.
We do. I'm going to read 3 Super Chats first, though, so we have the rest of the time for Jameis Winston. First one comes from Mud Alus Dividend.
Dang. Great name.
Says 52% of the chat are haters, Browns to the Super Bowl.
There you go.
That guy is so out of pocket. Anytime you don't kiss the Browns' ass, you're a hater.
Bull don't like blanket haters.
I hate that guy.
You got to say why
that guy
you
is
don't
all
agree.
that's wrong with fans. That comment.
Mark Tringhes, Tringhes, says, I feel like Darius Garland is a liability. Too weak for me. Looks lost at times. Give Mitchell anything he wants in order to keep him in Cleveland. And Daryl, our guy, says UCSS is lit on Fridays. Tune in to WKYC at 12:30. Love you guys. Everyone should listen to Daryl. 12:30, we move from YouTube to WKYC Channel 3. Make sure you guys tune in either on your television or on the WKYC Plus app. So we're going to do this Jameis Winston topic. If you don't know a lot of Jameis' backstory, you probably don't have him as one of your favorite Browns. But I promise you by the end of the season, Jameis will go down as one of the more popular Browns players over the last 25 years. Put together a little compilation of clips from his previous stops that you'll enjoy, and a couple gems he already has in Cleveland. This is a little minute compilation of some of his best moments with the New Orleans Saints. Steve, play it.
Where was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. One thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? Our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your hips, you know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows? Your knees, right? Like, so.
He was heel-toeing.
He counting on you. As a kid, my passion was always football. I didn't realize that my passion was playing football. Condoms, tandems in the league, right? With Latavius and Alvin. Excuse my language, right? I love to have fun, and that's what we do. We have fun.
Weren't able to be so productive tonight.
Well, obviously.
All right, so that's about a minute of Jameis clips from previous stops.
He is a character,
bro.
If you've never seen Jameis Winston workout videos, they're special. I cannot wait to see what he does in Cleveland. This is some of his Jameis Winston workout videos. Steve, you can play.
2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 4, 5.
You ain't got that much time in the pocket, Jameis. This dude is making stuff up. That is not helping at all.
So Jameis is the lead. The videos are awesome. So he's been a member of the Browns now officially for 48 hours. He came to Berea yesterday.
I love how like with Patrick Mahomes, he's like working with a trainer. He's got like science on moving his neck in all these directions, and Jameis is just like a heavy ball coming in. Duck, Jameis.
It's amazing. I'll tell you all his videos.
He got family members hitting him like, go. That ain't doing
it. It is pure gold, pure gold. So he made his way to Berea to sign his official contract, and there's just a few clips already. This is all from the last 2 days. Some of these are very short. Steve, play the first one. This is Jameis Winston introducing himself to the Dog Pound.
Public service announcement. Dog Pound. What's up? Public service announcement. Dog Pound. What's up? Public service announcement. Dog Pound. What's up?
These is real takes, too. That was real 4 in a row.
So he's awesome. Then he came and did a little walk and talk to the Browns facility.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know who Jameis Winston is, he's going to explain this for you. Steve, play the next clip.
And we are enjoying ourselves. Today is signing day for myself and Tyler Huntley. Myself being Jameis Winston. Hey, 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 and we are
Just in
enjoying
case you
ourselves.
weren't aware of who that was.
Did he actually say it all those times, or were you just?
No, I sliced and diced that.
Oh, okay.
He was asked why he picked Cleveland.
Yeah.
This answer was great as well. Steve?
Well, it all started when I knew I was going to become a free agent, and I just got so sick and tired of great weather and beaches and music, and I said, like, what is the place?
Let me challenge myself.
Well, yeah, what is the place that I know that I can give my kids some snow, for Christmas, like ain't
Or
no,
in March.
Well, no, but honestly, like, no, it's truly a blessing to be a part of the Dog Pound and to be on this radio show with y'all. But I've always admired just the history of Cleveland and what it encompasses, and to be able to be a part of that now is amazing.
And the best clip of all. The best. Gee, if you didn't see this, I need you to pay attention to the outfit he's wearing while doing this. So he signs his contract. I'm not sure who suggested he did this, but he went over to the workout room and already started getting to work with his new teammates. Gee, make sure you're watching the outfit. Steve, play the last
He got the trench suit. He got the inspector badge. What is happening there?
180. When he's Who's that laughing?
I don't know why he's taking snaps. I'm not sure why he's wearing a trench coat. But G. Bush, this is all within one trip to the facility. Cleveland is going to love Jameis.
Hey, listen, bro. This cat. This is a brilliant move right here, man. Listen, this guy is going to be the greatest deflection of all time. As a matter of fact, just Deshaun Watson don't need to speak no more. You let him translate it. You let him be the translator for Deshaun Watson. You ask him a question, you go to Jameis Winston for the answer.
That would be funny.
This guy.
That actually would be an amazing idea.
This guy.
He's got a much more his personality.
You can't even like. This is why he's allowed to throw. See, there's Joe Flacco who's allowed to throw 3 picks because you get mesmerized by his beard and just his tall man nature. Beard. Jameis Winston can throw 3 picks and be up there, and you be like, man, I can't even take this cat that serious. He just threw 3 picks. It don't matter. Jameis saw something over there. This dude is out there in an Inspector Gadget 3/4 trench. Go
Gadget. Style?
Listen, that's a nice coat. That's a nice
I've noticed a
jacket.
couple of styles. 3 things recently that I don't care for, but I don't have much style. You tell me what you think.
Listen.
Number 1, people wearing sports coats that are way too big. Yours fits you nicely. That's a good fit. I noticed a lot of people wearing sports coats that are obviously too big on them.
Are they wearing hoodies under?
No.
That's that Steve Harvey.
I don't know.
Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey got big suits, like, what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't get that. Number 2, Mike was doing this yesterday, wearing sweatpants that are like 3 sizes too big. What is with that fashion? I thought, no offense, Mike. I thought you looked sloppy yesterday.
I thought the sweatpants, I think the sweatpants is getting smaller.
No, Mike's sweatpants were like 5 sizes too big.
The bagginess.
He was wearing like triple extra large sweatpants.
Well, we stopped
They
doing
were
that.
size medium.
We stopped doing. That's a shame. We stopped doing that in 2006.
So you're out of style, Mike.
No, I'm bringing it back.
Mike claims he's in style. You're telling him he's out
Like
of style.
he's right. Like if you look at it, Tyvis and Earl is they look like they should be bigger than that, but they be having slim stuff. They be like, you got my hoodie is way too big. What? What do you mean? What you? Yeah, I like medium hoodies.
Whoa, that's Earl.
You like larges.
Extra large. I wear my true size.
You had to upgrade. The back in Ohio State.
Extra large.
It was large boys.
Extra large, man. I never did the too tight thing to try to show off my muscle. I like to.
Earl, you trying to wear
a hater?
Earl stays
size. I got to go a size smaller, man, to show off the definition.
See, that's ridiculous. I don't have to do that.
Damn.
Just if you hit the weights, Earl, it just naturally happens.
As we get older, you can't. As you get older, you really can't do that with the smallest, because then you might be like, hey man, G-Bush got on some Depends, bro. Did he have a diaper on? You can't have all them tight clothes up underneath here. That's bad.
And then the third trend, which has been going on for a while, which I can't stand, is teenage boys with like a mop for hair. It's white kids, teenage white kids.
Oh, the Bieber
with the mop hair.
The Bieber, I think
I'm like, my nephew has got a mop on it. I want to walk up to him and shave his head. Like, what are you doing? My son's hair is a little long. He's going for a haircut today. I'm like, you going for a haircut today? He's like, I kind of like it. I'm like, nah, you're getting your haircut.
As an actor, you got to let him have creative.
That's true. We just took headshots.
When does it become his choice for what he want to do with his?
White kids get emancipated at 12. They make their own decisions. Mom, get out of my room.
Did you know? Did I tell you?
You know me well enough.
Did I ever tell y'all the story about I was gonna run away from home because I didn't want to get a haircut?
Really?
I was like,
how old were you?
Ooh, I probably was like 8 or 9, right? Whoa. And my mother was, I had a fro and I wanted braids at the time. And my mother was like, no, you're getting a haircut. And I said, Mom, I don't want a haircut. Like, I want to get braids. Yeah. She was not having it.
Nope.
So I said, you know what? I'm running away. She said, all right, bye. So I packed my stuff. And I got to the top of the street and I realized I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I came back and got a
haircut.
Stopped at the
Ty, what'd you think of the Jameis Winston?
That was it. She had the hammer back right there.
She pulled my card.
We don't like you anyway.
The Jameis thing was cool. Listen, Jameis he's a funny guy. I mean, the thing about Jameis is he's gonna come in there. He's gonna get the locker room. He's gonna win the locker room over instantly because of the personality that he has. And he's the guy that's gonna go out there. He gonna ride with you. That's the thing. Like I said, we talked about the guy getting his first touchdown. He did that for him. So if that's the case, he's a player's guy. I think Jameis is going to do well.
And I like if we go ahead and get that touchdown.
Listen, he took the heat for it and doubled down on it.
I made that.
It's a team decision. It was a team decision. Yeah. So you mad at the team because we thought that we came together as a team and said, let's do something. Let's get him a touchdown.
That's like us changing all the topics.
All right, guys, we're out of time, but 12:30 on the dot. Put on Channel 3 WKYC. We're back for another 30-minute show. We'll see you there on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Peace.
The best sports talk in Cleveland is coming to 3. Tune in every Friday at 12:30 p.m. for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Jay, G. Bush, Bull, and guests tackle the Browns and more. The Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, now on 3 Fridays at 12:30 p.m.